Hi, I'm Lou, another episode of My Car Story. We're here at the Muscle Car and Corvette National in Rosemont, Illinois. And I'm with Jim Wangers and Tenney, and this is the original Bobcat GTO, the first one that was on the cover. So we're going to talk to Jim for a little bit. Tenney's going to help us see the car, and I'm going to grab the cameras I usually do. So stay right there. Jensen, thank you so much. So Jim, while I've got you here, Tenney, jump in alongside him. So Jim, we've got the Bobcat GTO. I'm going to focus on that. Tell us, tell the young viewers a little bit about yourself so they know who you are.
Well, I was just lucky enough to be at the right place at the right time.
Okay.
When the muscle car was conceived. The idea of stuffing a big engine in a little car was hardly something terribly creative. They'd been doing it in the aftermarket for years. But Pontiac was the first major automaker that decided to do it at the factory before it got into the field.
That's awesome.
So sticking a big 389 cubic inch V8 in what was then considered a muscle car concept coming out of the intermediate class, which is what the Tempest Le Mans GTO concept really was. Big cars had always featured big engines, but it was kind of unusual for the factory to take one of those big engines and now stick it into a significantly smaller car. And that happened in 1964. And Pontiac was the first one, the first manufacturer to stick a name on it, give it a little personality, and send it out into the marketplace.
And your role with that was what?
Well, I was fortunate enough to be there. I kind of had been a little bit of a street racer myself, maybe a little bit more than a little bit. And so I knew where to go with it. I knew who to talk to about it. And by God, we were there with the right car at the right time.
Jim, God bless you. I wish you nothing but the best. And Tenney, I'm going to take you and let's take a look at this car. Thanks, Jim, for your time. Let's take a look at your car. First of all, we've got this is the first one. This is the '64, the Bobcat. So let me just kind of step back, try to get as much of that as I can in there. Let's not pop the hood just yet. Let's just get a look at the front of it. Come on over. Come on right next to me, Tenney.
Okay.
So Tenney, come on over next to me.
All right.
Because you're going to need to talk right there.
Okay,
How did you end up getting the Bobcat?
Well, I knew the man that had this car, or knew of the man that had this car, and I said,
Come with me. We're going to look on the other side too.
By the time, when the time comes that you're done with it, I'd like to have a try. And thankfully, he thought of me, and I was able to acquire the car about 10 years ago.
That is great. Guys, can I ask you, thanks. Let's move back just a step. I want to get the whole side of the car in. Come on back with me, Tenney.
I'm with you.
So how long have you had it now?
10 years.
10 years. So you're the caretaker.
Yep, current custodian.
Current custodian. And what a fun piece of history you drive. Do people know that it's a piece of history?
I don't really have a lot of stuff with the display and things, so I just drive it around. But a few people recognize it who are into the hobby.
Yeah. And they know it really. I mean, one of the identifying markings, if I may, is this right here. That's kind of the answer, isn't it?
Yep, Royal Pontiac. And Jim Wangers, he set them up with to be kind of the engineering outlet from Pontiac, so all the cool stuff would go to Royal.
Got it.
And
okay.
That's how that went.
Come on, let's take a look at the back of it for a moment. Is that trunk open? Let's shut that trunk if we got to. Let's make sure the keys aren't in it. Okay. Almost. All right, come on back.
Hold on a second.
There we go. All right, I just wanted to get a clean shot of the back of it. Beautiful. Let's there's the Royal. Let's take a look at the let's go on the other side and take a look at the interior, because obviously Jim's on this side. I'll let you open the door there, and then I'll jump in. Thank you. And there's, by the way, the Car and Driver magazine. The first one. So here we are. And Tenney, Can you hear me okay? Were these original gauges in the underneath the dash there?
Well, those are just to make, because I like to drive the car.
Sure.
And I like to have a gauge in, for the water and the oil. It has the lights on the dash, but I prefer the gauges for that, so that's a little deviation from stock.
Got it.
Now, you know, this is the only factory 421 GTO known to exist. This car had a 421 engine put into it.
Well, let's pop the
For
hood.
the car and driver test.
Let's pop the hood and talk about that. I didn't know that. So back in that time frame, they pretty much had the the 389 was the motor.
It. Yeah, and that was a big deal at the time.
Yeah.
They wanted to make a good impression in that test.
So they dropped the 421 in here.
And this is a visually identical engine to a 389. You have to kind of know what to look for to tell.
What do you have to look for to know the difference?
There's a little pyramid behind the distributor boss that'll tell you. It's been ground off.
Okay, gotcha. And let's take a look on the other side. And we're going to shut this hood in a second, and we're going to have you stand right next to it. And I really appreciate you giving us the time on
You bet, of course.
my car story. So let's shut the hood.
Crossing.
Tenney, stand right next to it. There you go. Thanks for being the caretaker and being on my car story.
It's been my pleasure.
Thank you.